today's video, we're going to cover marten trapping. Okay, so I'm going to show you 4 sets that I utilize when I trap marten. Now, you trappers know that there's 101 ways to catch a marten. There's all sorts of different kinds of sets you can use to catch marten. So hopefully, some of you guys out there, can take something away from these sets I'm about to show you. I'm going to explain to you why I use them and why they benefit me on the trap line. Go over them a bit with you, and hopefully you guys learn something. So the first set we're going to cover is the pole set. Okay, now the pole set is as this. Now, one thing you want to do with these pole sets is you want to make sure that when you catch a marten, okay, I'm going to show you guys. I'm 6'3". I'm a pretty tall fella. Okay, this pole's up there about shoulder height for me. When this animal gets caught, okay, I don't want him touching the ground. I want to keep him up off the ground. I don't want squirrels getting to him. I don't want other animals getting to him. So the higher off the ground he is, the better it is. And so for this set, what I did is I got about I don't know, if I had to guess, maybe a 10-foot long pole. And I've got wired to my tree. Right there you can see I just wired it on. Some people nail them on. And another thing you notice is my pitch. My pitch of my pole, it's not that steep. It's relatively flat. I want to encourage that marten to go up that pole. I don't want it real steep. I like him, on both ends wired up, so he's got a clear avenue to run. He comes up wherever side, he's got somewhere to go. He's got somewhere to stand. He can cruise on up. And if you notice, this is how I have my bait done. Okay, all it is, I drove a nail into the front of the tree, as you can see, and this is all this is this. Okay, that's just caribou hide. Okay, that I've dried, rolled up into a ball. Now, why do I use caribou hide? Well, 2 reasons really. A, it's really light. Okay, so it don't weigh nothing to carry. It's not like carrying a bunch of fish or something with you. It's extremely light, and it works really well for applying your lure on your bait. It just gets all sticky inside that hair, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. So I wire my bait just out of reach from the trap. Okay, so he's got to step on this trap. He has to step here in order to get that bait. Okay, and you want to make sure that your pan is in the center of your pole. You don't want to get a pole that's too big and he has room on either side of your pole to step. You want him step in the center of this pole. Okay, so when he gets caught, and now this pole or this trap, okay, we've got it attached with some 16 gauge wire, just one twist. That's all it is, one twist. Okay, so what's going to happen here is he's going to come up, running up this pole all excited because he saw my flasher down here. It's all just waving in the wind, doing what it's supposed to do, attracting him. He's got lure. I put lure on the bottom of the tree here, lure up high, so we cover all different areas of wind. But he's going to come up in here. He's going to hit this trap, right? He's going to fight this trap. He's going to fight that trap, and he's going to fall off. Okay, now look how high that trap is off the ground. That's probably, if I had to guess, that's probably, I don't know, 4.5 feet off the ground. Okay, he's off the ground. Nothing's going to touch him. No squirrels are going to grab him. He can't touch anything, and that's a key point there. You don't want him to be able to fight this and get back to something to get back on top of that pole. Nobody wants anything to suffer. Okay, you want him hanging here so he exacerbates himself really quick and he perishes. You don't want him to suffer, neither do I. Nobody wants anything to suffer. Okay, so you want him off the ground. He can't touch anything. And that's the pole set. Okay, this has been used for a long time. I love this set. A lot of you guys out there can't use foot traps for trapping marten. You got to use conibears, bears, and there's nothing wrong with that. Conibears bears are great. I love conibears. Bears. They're killers. Now let's talk about our second set. Okay, our second set is a coffee can set. And this is the coffee can set. Once again, I'm giving the marten, I'm giving the marten a place to stand. I want him to stand here and stick his head up in the trap. Okay, so we're giving him a place to stand. The bait, you can tell, that hole in the top of the can is where your bait would go. You'd wire it just onto the top. Stick your wire through that hole and it's just twisted up. Okay. Now this is a great set because A, it keeps the birds out of your sets. No bird's gonna stick his head up in there. Well, hopefully, you never know. Okay, so you keep birds out of it. Squirrels occasionally will stick their heads up in there because they're idiots. But again, this pole is pretty high. It's high up off the ground. Okay, so when this trap fires off and it shoots up out of this can, okay, now look at these clips in here. I cut these into the can, and that's what actually holds the conibear in that trap. Okay, let's grab a stick here and let's pop this sucker off and I'll show you. Okay, so he's gonna come in here and he's gonna stick his head up in there. Blap! There he goes. Okay, there's where he is. Now he's not gonna touch the ground. He can't touch anything else around him. He's isolated and he's right there for you. Off the ground and out of the way of the squirrels. That's the can set. Okay, see? See how I cut the ridges in there in the coffee can, so it just holds that trap in there perfect. Now, the third set is a different variation of a can set, but it's on a leaning pole. See that? It's leaning. Now, this is a great set. These planters here, they're cheap, they're light, they're not real durable. You know, that conibear fires off and there's a good possibility it's gonna break that thing. So I usually bring a bunch of them, you know, to replace them. But this is how you replace them. Check this out. This is pretty slick. Look at that. The bait, I just wire up inside the can or the planter. I just wire it up inside of it. Okay, and then when you want to replace it, just shove that child back on there, just like that. See that? See? Just pops on and off. Okay, now your marten, he's gonna look straight up at that bait. Okay, and we got a reflector over here waving in the wind. Okay, now what I like to do is I like to take my lure. Okay, so I put my lure up high and then I put my lure down low. Okay, I want him to search. I want him to come up in here and look and find this bait in the can. That's what we want on that. Okay, so when he comes running up, let's find a stick here. Yeah. Okay, so he's gonna come running up. Bam. See that? Same thing. He's up off the ground. He can't touch nothing. He's out of the way of all the animals. Perfect set. Now, the fourth set, okay, are boxes. A lot of people use wooden boxes. They're great. They're heavy. They're kind of a pain in the butt to haul around, but longevity. They last as long as, you know, something doesn't chew them up like porcupines or squirrels. They tend to chew them up a bit, but they work great. I use them on my trap line in spots where it's easy to get to. You know, if I got to run a long ways, I really don't want to have to carry, you know, 20 or 30 boxes with me. That's a lot of boxes. And that's where I go to the other sets that I showed you, the pole set, the cans, and the planters. I'll use those sets instead of the boxes because A, they're easier to carry, easier to transport. And so this set is, you'll see, these are all boxes that I've made. Now I've got the trap, I've screwed this in here. This is where your animal is going to hang from. And again, he's off the ground. He's off the ground, nothing can get to him. We got our tractor here. Okay, and if you look up the box, see the screen in the back? That's so he doesn't come and try to go through the top. Okay, and it lets the bait air out up top, you know, it's scents wafting out of those holes and whatnot. Now a lot of people will turn the box around so that this opening is facing up. But I find when I do that, I catch a lot of marten by the ass. And I don't want that. I want them dead. I want them right behind the head and just, you know, kill them quick. Now I use my 120s with this versus a 110 because A, they fit in there real good. You just squeeze the jaws in there and it fits in there just pretty like. And what I'll do is I'll wire my bait to the far back of that box, so it's up against the screen in back, and that works perfectly. Let's grab a stick and fire it off and show you. Okay, so your Marten, you know, you can either put a pole here or not put a pole here. It's your choice. I do 50-50, but he's gonna come in here, flap. He's gonna shoot out, and see that? He's away from everything. He's about 4 feet off the ground. Nothing's gonna get to him. Perfect. So let's start at the beginning. Kind of run through this again with you guys. We got the pole set. Okay, and that is a 1.5 Victor. That's a 1.5 Victor. A beautiful trap. Now we have the coffee can set. Another beautiful set. Now we've got the planter box set that pops on and off for your convenience. The planter box set. Beautiful set. Works great. Caught a lot of Marten this year doing that. And now we have the fourth and final, the box. A lot of work goes into those boxes. They're not easy to build, they're not cheap to build, but man, they're sure pretty. So I hope you guys took something away from this video. If you have any questions, just, you know, let me know. I'm here to help you guys. I want you guys to catch fur. I love catching fur, so I want other people to enjoy what I enjoy. Like I said, if you have any questions, just let me know, and I can guide you, or, you know, hopefully point you in the right direction. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, take it easy.